Brothers and sisters, g'day. Welcome back to the Behaviour Revolution. My name is Mark, and why is Yahusha doing a behaviour revolution? Clearly, his bride does not know how to behave. Because we see in the world people who are declaring to be believing this and believing that, people who've studied, they have all this knowledge in their head, they're going through all this religious process, they don't know how to behave. His bride does not know how to behave. And we don't want to be in some crazy delusion, do we? Because if we don't have a love for his truth, then he will give us a strong delusion, remember? So how do you really know if you're part of his bride or not? We thought we were part of his bride back when we were Pentecostal Christians. We thought we were part of his bride when we became more Jewish, Hebrew-rooted based people. We thought we were part of the bride when we were Messianics. We thought we were definitely part of the bride when we became Nazarene and got immersed into the true names, Yahusha and Yahuwah. But as we go on, we realise that Yahusha's bride has a certain behaviour. A certain behaviour. That is her worship. That is the fruits of righteousness. That in Hebrews 12, it says, I flog and discipline and chastise those who I love. If you won't endure the chastisement, you're not my son. You'll be cut off, you'll be illegitimate. So that we will bear the fruits of righteousness, which is a behaviour. Yahusha's bride is learning how to put on her garments, preparing for the wedding feast. So if you're not in that place and you're just so hungry for knowledge and, wisdom and conspiracies and, I don't know what else it is you like to study and whatever, Yahusha's bride is in love with the groom. Remember, we did those studies about the Song of Songs and the love between the bride and the bridegroom, that love that he fills his bride with. Then we went on to other studies about how to behave that love, the Torah language. Are you going to be in the language of truth? The conversation of life is truth and love. Are you going to be in that place? Or are you just going to be speaking stale cliches and dead words? And we've gone on and we've gone on and we've gone on over the last few weeks. I haven't done any videos for the last month, I'm sorry. It's been a big time in my life, just going through different experiences and trials and enduring lots of things. And around the time of Passover, it was like a bit of a baseball bat to my head. Just waking up to so many things that have gone on in my life. But we endure, we keep going, we weather the storms and we put one foot in front of the other and we keep going. So Facebook's allowing me to go live again today, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to make this a regular gig now because it's needed. Yahusha's body needs to know how to behave. That's why the behaviour revolution was born. We'd been filled with nearly 10 years of amazing knowledge. And Yahusha was then saying to us, what are you going to do about it? You're just going to sit there and just keep learning this amazing knowledge, go the sheep walking around in the same pasture all the time? It just turns into mud. The most freshest of words can just turn into mud if we don't A, behave them, and B, be searching for his truth and the new fresh word that we want. So the handful of us in the behaviour revolution are wanting the fresh thing where we're trying to train ourselves to hear Yahusha's voice. And you can't do that overnight. You've got to, when you hear it and you try and write it down, sometimes it gets, muddled, So, we have to train away the worldliness because it's always screaming at us. The tentacles of the world are always trying to wrap themselves around us and, we need to be training ourselves. So the reason we're doing these videos, brothers and sisters, is because there's a lack. There's a lacking. Yahusha's bride is not being told how she should behave. She's being told she's being told things that she doesn't need to know. She's been filled with knowledge and understanding and all this stuff from other teachers. But when I look out there and I can smell a religiousness a mile away and I hate it. And all the teachers out there are trying to bamboozle and impress and sell things, and it's not what Yahusha wants his bride to know. So that's why I'm not a teacher, don't want to be one, but there's a lacking in the bride. So I can do it. I know how to push record and try and listen to Yahusha's voice. So here I am, and we're going to discuss today the household of the belief. And we are live. So if you've just joined us, welcome. You can, if you missed the beginning or you missed half of it, or you tune in at the end, I will upload this at the end to my page, to the Behaviour Revolution page, to our YouTube channel, so you haven't missed out. And you can ask questions as we go along if you like. So we're going to be discussing the household of the belief today. What is the household of the belief? Because if you read through these scriptures and you skim read like I do, there's so much to be reading online. You're just constantly processing information all the time. You're skimming things all the time. You miss out on all the gems. So Christopher yesterday wrote this amazing article, and it was, to me, it was the summary really of a lot of articles and a lot of discussion that had been going on surrounding the behaviour revolution for the last couple of weeks. I know I'd been talking to a lot of people who are considering immersion or had just been immersed, or, so you're talking about door stuff, about those subjects, and the questions I keep getting asked and subjects that were coming up were sort of like, why are they being taught this? Why don't they know this? Why isn't it being made easy for people to understand? The doorway. And we've done videos on that too. The religions are standing in the doorway, trying to get attention, trying to sell things, trying to take the attention off Yahusha himself, who is the door. So I started writing a few articles about the doorway, make it simple for people, and like just the fundamental things that people should know for the younger generations following us, what they should have in their portfolio as they move forward. So we make it easy for them. Open the doorway for the younger generations. And Christopher's been writing at the same time, and I've been liking what's been coming through, and Yahusha's been talking to his bride, talking to us. There was a big explosion during the week about the flirting. There was an article we put up about flirting, which then flowed into a subject about masturbation. Is that Torah? Is that instruction? Is that, not instruction, is that sinfulness? And that was a shock even in itself, the number of believers who wouldn't even stand on that truth. We've all been sinful. We've all come out of varying different degrees of depravity and sin. No one's denying that. But to not stand on the truths, to not declare, yes, this is sin, yes, that's sin, to not teach it to your children, what hope do they have? It's all about the children. They're watching our behaviour. And, they may not see what filthy practices go on behind doors, but they know the behaviour. They watch our behaviour. And if you are doing sinful habits, then your behaviour becomes weird. Your behaviour, you're strange. Because Yahusha can't be involved in that kind of behaviour, or those sneaky, depraved sort of habits. So that's not what we're discussing today. But this is what I believe is the result, really. I just read it and went, this is just the summary of everything we've been through. The discussions we've had with people. I've got a bit heated with people during the week because people are just so crazy out there. So anyway, I've rambled on enough. What is the household of the belief? And I'm reading an article here by Christopher. What is the household of the belief? We do not think that sitting in some stinky, grim little office or bedroom or garage down in your mum's basement, we do not think that sitting in some stinky, grim office, bedroom, garage, whilst being on Facebook or whatever that place may be for you, sneakily declaring all sorts of deludedness, we do not believe that this is actually the household of the belief, referred to in Galatians 6:10. There's a household of the belief referred to in Galatians 6:10. Let me read that verse for you. So then, as we have occasion, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. Now, if you were to read that while you're reading the scriptures, the BYNV, while you're reading that, if you were to just read that normally, I would just read straight past it. I would not have even got the gem out of it. We have to slow down and read every word that Yahusha is giving us. So then, as we have occasion, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. So, I will come back to the scripture, but let's go on. What does belief mean? If we look in the English dictionary, belief means an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. Example, his belief in extraterrestrial life. 2, trust, faith or confidence in something or someone. That's what belief is. Now, we don't use the word faith. It's a very watered down religious, it's actually a pagan word. Trust is a better word and belief is the best word for that. For the Hebrew word that we are referring to, belief is the best word to use. Belief and trust. A belief in democratic politics. Synonyms: faith, trust, reliance, confidence, credence, freedom from doubt, optimism, hopefulness, hope, that's another good one. I have no real belief in the power of reason. Okay, so that's just the English definition of belief, because we're talking about the household of the belief. There is the belief, all right? Clearly this scripture, he was saying this, writing this down because there's so much madness going on in the world, just like there is today. And there was back when this was being written. But there is a household of the belief. The belief. Just centering on the words household of the belief here. Did you know that there was actually a household of the belief in Scripture? Sounds like some sort of exclusive club. And it really is. Those in this club or household understand that they are of the wheat variety. The wheat. Remember the wheat and the tares? The wheat variety, not the tares. This club is not religious in any shape or form. It has no doctrines of men. This club is not religious in any shape or form. It has no doctrines of men. We only interested in this here, yeah? This here, yeah, mate? This book. The household of the belief only accepts Yahusha as Messiah. There is no other substitute name for deliverance / salvation. Deliverance. There is no other name. Yahusha is his name. This is the household of the belief. We're standing and we've been immersed in his name. Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahusha the Messiah. He's our deliverance. There's only one name given whereby men can be delivered. Whereby men can be free, delivered from the pestering of unclean spirits, from the unclean habits and bondage and slavery of unclean spirits. There's only one name. There's only one, because there's only one person who can deliver people from that. So we can circle the drain all we like and discuss all these surrounding topics and conspiracies and everything we want, but there's only deliverance in one name. Okay? The household operates outside the confines and reach of the system. What about that? The household operates outside the confines and reach of the system. What does that mean? And the household is doing the instructions of Torah through their behaviour and wise words. They are operating outside the confines and reach of the system. Does that mean we're breaking the law? No. Does that mean we're not obeying the system? No, not exactly. But we're operating outside of the confines and reach of the system. This will be made clear. Let me go on. The tares. Remember we're talking about the wheat and the tares? Household are wheat, but the tares are amongst the wheat as our shield, because their behaviour is not household stuff, mate. So the tares are amongst the wheat. Remember the sower? The thief comes and sows tares among the wheat. The tares are growing with the wheat, and they are our shield, because their belief is not household stuff. Their behaviour is different. This, of course, confuses the enemy. This confuses the enemy into thinking that we are all the same in our behaviour. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The household operates right under the enemy's nose, pulling those from the highway to death, pulling those from the highway of death who are seeking deliverance. What does that mean? The tares are our shield. So if you are a Messianic or you are a Nazarene and you don't have household behaviour, if you are not seeking and moving forward in your belief in the behaviour, the revolution that is behaviour that's happening in the world, Yahusha's bridal behaviour revolution, if you're not marching forward in that, trying to put on correct behaviour, taking everything you learn, every piece and morsel of knowledge you've ever learnt and turning it into a behaviour, if you are not in that place, but you're just sitting in your mum's basement or in your household office, declaring all this knowledge that you're not believing, you're not behaving, you are our shield. You're a tear. You're not a wheat, you're a tear. And the tares are shielding the wheat because the enemy can't find the wheat. Did you know that? It says it in Revelation. The remnant. Remember, the woman gives birth to a child, a remnant. And the dragon is furious and is chasing after, wants to devour her, destroy the remnant. But he gets hidden, the remnant gets hidden, taken, whisked off into the wilderness. The dragon can't find the remnant. The dragon can't find Yahusha's bride. Because if the dragon could find Yahusha's bride, he would destroy her. So if you're out there with your religious behaviour, and I don't care if you're Christian, well, I don't care if you're Messianic or if you even declare yourself a Nazarene, if you're out there with strange, religious, wacky behaviour, wearing the clothes that should be worn, you say, wearing the headpieces and the, hats and zeets and paleo and wearing all this religious BS, and you're out there with this BS behaviour, not wheat behaviour, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a shield, because the dragon is after you, not me. The dragon's not going to get me because I'm going to play it cool. And look in the scripture here before you start throwing lemons at the screen at me. Look at the scripture here. So then, as we have occasion, not so then while you are out there door knocking, telling every single bloody person you possibly can on the face of the earth about the name of Yahusha, as you have occasion. Yahusha understands our lives. He understands the system that we're in the world, that we have to pay our mortgage, that we have to work our jobs, that we have to provide food for our families. He understands life, Yahusha understands our life. He's inside us. If we're immersed believers, he understands. And he says here, so then, as we have occasion, let us do good to all. So the command is clear, do good to all. As you have occasion, as you are in your life, as you are working, as you are driving, as you're going to pick up the kids from school, as you are, anywhere you are, anywhere you find yourself in your life, as you have occasion, let us do good. Not make it your mission in life. Don't turn your back on life and reality itself. I did that for many years. The house was untidy. The kids were unruly. The wife was unloved. Everything was crazy. But I was in there, in my dungeon or stinky grim office, bedroom, garage. It's fake. It's not real. It's not reality. Your life is your reality. So this has to come into your reality, brothers and sisters. Don't be in a delusion. We have to have a love for the truth. So then, as we have occasion, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. So, as we have occasion. Are you watching this with a life and your life is just total turmoil? Are you watching this knowing in the back of your mind that your life is complete chaos? Because that's where you start. Get your finances in order. Get your budgets together. Budget your money. Stop spending money on everything, wasting your money. Clean your house. Clean your business. Make sure your kids are in routines. Make sure your life is in routine and ordered and balanced, and there's no chaos in your life. That's Yahusha coming into your life. That's step one. Don't just be sitting there in your stinky, grim little office or bedroom or garage, wherever you are on Facebook, on your phone, ignoring the reality of life. The reality of your life is your reality. And there are plenty of years I just wanted to take myself out of the reality, because I was going to change the world for Yahusha. I was going to make the Nazarene movement, bring it into the 21st century. And you know what? That's just a complete ego, because Yahusha does everything. Yahusha brings up every occasion in our life. If we are balanced, if we are ordered, if we are routined enough to hear his voice. Because if you're not order, the opposite to order is chaos. You can't hear Yahusha amongst chaos, because chaos is unclean spirits all the time, fussing everything up in your life. We need to balance our lives, get everything ordered, so that as we have occasion, as we are working at our job, as we are doing the routines, as we're at the supermarket, as we're driving, or we're picking up the children from school, or taking them to sport, or doing whatever you need to do, as an occasion arises, you can do good. Yahusha might get a conversation sparking with somebody, and you know that he's moving, and you can tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. It's in his leading. It's in his guiding. It's all about what he's doing, not about us declaring that we have some mission, that we have some ministry, that we have some this and that and this and that, going out there with plaques and banners and t-shirts. And it's not about what we are doing. It is about us selling over, giving over to Yahusha, recognizing that we can't change anybody's mind about anything. You can argue with somebody for weeks and weeks and weeks, and still they won't change their mind, because they may not be supernaturally awakened yet. They may not be being led, because you can't receive Yahusha. You can't even understand him. You can't perceive how two people can be one and one person can be two and two people can be one. You can't understand anything like that unless you are being supernaturally led. This is a supernatural experience. Spooky. And so if somebody is not being supernaturally led, if their eyes, if the scales are not starting to drop from their eyes, if they're not being woken up, Yahusha said, no one comes to the Father except through me. And the Father said, no one draws them, no one comes. You can't come unless you're drawn. So if somebody is not being drawn, all the campaigns and missions and going out into the world, door knocking, is not going to do anything if it's not Yahusha doing it. So our job, as we have occasion, is to do good to all. Doing good is a behaviour, isn't it? It would be the way you treat your customers, the way you treat your clients. Your behaviour is doing good. Your behaviour, the fruits of righteousness, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control. Those are the fruits that the bride of Yahusha is being trained in. So as we have occasion, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. There is a belief. Those who have repented, been immersed into the only name, Yahusha HaMashiach, are immersed into the true household, the true bride, the true Yisrael. Not all that wacky stuff going on in the Middle East. That's all part of the beast system. Don't get caught up in any of that. People who are of the true household have been immersed. And so when you talk to them in life or on Facebook, they will understand what you're saying. They will not have any fight, because the Ruach inside them is the same as the Ruach inside you, which is the same as Yahusha's Ruach. He's moving amongst his bride. So if you feel like the Ruach is not moving and you're just talking to argumentative people, why bother? Yahusha does everything. So you can feel when you're talking. And recently I've had conversations with people and there is no fight. Do you know how refreshing it is to talk to people where there is no fight, where they are hungry for Yahusha? And they want his ruach, they want his guiding, they want his leading, they want his deliverance, his love. They're the people we are sent to, brothers and sisters. The bride, the household, is going to be very small. That's a very sad thing to declare, but I've kind of faced that inside myself. It's not going to be some global phenomenon. Yes, I believe before the end, every single person will have made a choice. They will have heard and they will have made a choice. So Yahusha's not unfair. He won't destroy people who don't know. And as far as people who have died over the past, you're judged on conscience. You're judged on the amount of truth that has been revealed in that phase of human history. But everybody will have a choice, and the bride is going to be very small. As in the days of Noach, one family got delivered out of the whole world. One household will be delivered as the fire hits this earth. The household of the belief. And you can spot those who are of the belief because of their behaviour. So, the tares are amongst the wheat as our shield. I thought that was just phenomenal. The tares are sown amongst us as our shield because the dragon just thinks we're all the same. He thinks we're all got the same. Oh yeah, that's the Nazarene, and that's the Christians, and that's the Messianics. And technically we are Nazarene because Nazarene means branches. We are the branches. He is the vine. We are the branches. And it also means watchmen. We're watching. Not just watching and holding and guarding the covenant. We're watching for the end. We're watching for the signs. We're watching around us. Not watching for the enemy, but watching to ignore the enemy. Watching for Yahusha, what he's doing in our day. Watching, we're watchmen, we're Nazarene. So technically we are called Nazarene. Nazarene. Be an Aussie, Mark. Nazarene. We are Nazarene. So, but we don't behave like the Nazarene. Yahusha's bride does not behave like the Nazarene that you see out there on Facebook and, doing what they're doing. So if you're not a wheat, if you're not part of the household, you are a tare. So as I said before, thank you for being a shield to us because we are operating incognito and the dragon can't find us. Cunning as a serpent and gentle as a dove. That is our instruction. You're going out there as sheep amongst wolves. So, how does our behaviour have to be, brothers and sisters, if you're being sent out there into a battle as sheep amongst wolves? Cunning and gentle. Doing the fruit. As you find occasion. What does it say? As we have occasion, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. So, I'd like to go to another short article now that was written a few weeks ago, but it put into perspective what this is all about. Activating Torah trust behaviour. And people who are of the household of the belief are not just gathering little morsels of knowledge into their vessel, they are activating them. Activating Torah trust behaviour. What is Torah trust behaviour? Let's find out. We're going to come into the understanding that Yahusha wants to bring us into a higher realm of understanding. Why does Yahusha give us this understanding? As with all instructions in the Torah, it is a behaviour. All instruction in the Torah is a behaviour. All instruction in the Torah is a behaviour. Got that? A behaviour. If you're not reading it for that purpose, you're not getting the behaviour. All right? All of Torah is a behaviour, not a religious mindset of knowledge. Because people are addicted to knowledge, you know. All of Torah is a behaviour, not a religious mindset of knowledge that is not activated. Activated knowledge of truth is always a behaviour. So, to activate the Torah in our lives means to behave it. Just like our covenant, the 10 Commandments are not just to be plastered all around our houses and, great, The house is our dwelling place. The doorposts and lintels of our house is our vessel. Our heart gets circumcised, cut, so it's made soft, so that on our immersion, our circumcision, spiritual circumcision, our immersion, the commandments get written on our heart. Our covenant is a behaviour. Go through each and every one of the commandments. We'll do that one day. And see that it is all a behaviour. The thing is, refusing to activate your behaviour by staying in the comfort of a religious fortress of knowledge. Staying in the comfort. It's very comfortable, all the knowledge we've learned. Been on an amazing journey of knowledge for over a decade now, I have. And it was very amazing and mind-blowing. And, you know, the things we learned and discovered was like a big warm blanket of understanding, of knowing the history, of knowing what the world is, knowing what our purpose is on the world, knowing. But the thing is, refusing to activate your behaviour by staying in the comfort of a religious fortress of knowing, a religious fortress of knowledge, is living a bad behaviour of a religious mixture. Yahusha expects us to activate what we have learnt into correcting our behaviour. Our behaviour has to be corrected. And it's very, very day-to-day practicalities, simple behaviours that he comes into us and says, change that, I don't like that. Change this, I don't like that. Like I said before, we put an article up about flirting and people just would not commit to it. I'm not even going to talk about the masturbation part right now because guys are furious about that. But even the girls, most of them wouldn't even commit to, do you flirt? You know, we've all flirted. We've all had whorish behaviour. Why can't you just be upfront and honest and declare it? What, because you're married? You know, that means nothing. You need to tell the truth. The truth is one of the 10 commandments. Don't bear false witness. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. It's very simple, practical behaviour. This is how we activate all the knowledge that is in us. It has to come out in a behaviour. So that was just one topic about flirting, you know. Yahusha expects us to activate what we have learned into correcting our behaviour to suit the giving of this knowledge. Yahusha wants us to come out of this childish, mixed behaviour and step into the unexperienced discipline of Tura trust behaviour. What on earth did that mean? Yahusha wants us to come out of this childish, mixed behaviour. Stop. What does that mean? Childish, mixed behaviour. I shared an article a couple of days ago that came up in my Facebook memories from a few years ago, and it was called People of the Mixture. People of the Mixture. And there was a picture of what's his face from The Walking Dead being attacked by zombies. People of the mixture. Yeah. So, what is the mixture? The mixture is it's probably the most dangerous place to be in. The land of Messianicville is a very dangerous place to be in. Messianics and Nazrim are living in a very, very dangerous delusion. You know why? Because when you come from far left Christianity and you come out of it, you can see that it's the beast system. Yeah. When you come out from far right, Yahudaism or Jewishism or Orthodox Jewishness, you know, and you come out of that, you can see that it's pretty wacky what they're going on. They've held on to the covenant, yeah, but it's pretty wacky, all right? So when you come out of here and you come out of here into this grey area where there's no real ordained teachers and there's no real reputableness, and if you do get a bit of a reputation, you'll get torn to shreds. And there's a bit of Christianity still, because we still say G-O-D, we still say Lord, and we still say J-S-U-S. And there's a bit of Jewishness, because now we're doing the Hebrew feasts, you know, and, you know, we've chucked in a bit of Yeshua in there, you know, and, you know, you're in this grey swill in the middle here of messianicness, because you are holding to a covenant, but you believe in a Messiah, and you believe in a Messiah, but you're holding to a covenant. You're in this mixture mindset, bit of a swill, of everything going on. But because it's so different and fresh to what you've come out of, you think you're in the truth. But you're really in this grey area. And don't get me wrong, that is fine, because we are to come out. Come out, come out. But you've got to keep coming out. Don't stick your banner in the ground and say, I'm here, I've arrived. You've got to keep going, keep going, keep going. Come into more and more truth. So you're in a grey area, brothers and sisters. That's the state of the Messianic Nazarene community, living in a grey area. That is the people of the mixture. It's a mixture mindset. And it shocks me how many people who even people who have found out the true names are still using a book that has Bible stamped on the front of it. Holy, I'll say it, Holy Bible. Holy, Hindu, Bible, deity, that's the book they're using. Generally because they don't know and they're just still trying to find the truth. So that's one of the first things I tell them. Go and get yourself a BYNV, because it's the most Ruach-inspired translation to date. It's restored all the names. You don't have to do all this word confusion in your head, translating in your head. It's straight from Hebrew to English. It's bypassed the Greek. There's no Greek madness in there. Bypassed all the Greek, the Latin, the German, everything, Straight from Hebrew to English. We don't have to have, degrees in Hebrew language. We live in this society, all right? We live on the babbling lips of English language right now. So, brothers and sisters, get yourself one of these, if you haven't already. So that's what the mixture mindset is. The mixture mindset. You've got to keep coming forward, brothers and sisters. Come out of that grey area. Yahusha wants us to come out of this childish, mixed behaviour. It's a mixed behaviour. You come out of this one, you come out of this one, into this mixed behaviour where everything's acceptable and we're not accountable to anybody, and we can do what we want and say what we want and be what we want. We don't have any leaders, That's the childish, mixed behaviour that we are to come out of. Step into the unexperienced discipline of Torah trust behaviour. All of life is a discipline, isn't it? Disciplines. None of us want to be disciplined. We all want to do what the hell we want to do. But Yahusha is the opposite. He is an Elohim of order and balance and routine and discipline. All right? So come out of the mixed childish behaviour and step into the unexperienced discipline of Torah trust behaviour. What is Torah trust behaviour? Torah trust, trusting in Torah trust behaviour. What it means is you are saying to yourself, yes, I did hear his voice. And what does that mean? Sometimes you may not have. Sometimes you might have heard a different voice. But you are starting to step forward on one step after the other, saying, yes, I heard his voice in that situation, and I'm standing on it, and I'm going to see where it takes me. Because everything he says comes to fruition. Everything he says comes to pass. His words always go forth and accomplish what they set out to do. And his words are not bellowing forth in the atmosphere anymore, are they? They're coming through his bride, through his household. So if we're not standing on this unexperienced discipline of Torah trust behaviour, and we're not declaring inside ourselves, yes, I did hear his voice, then we have to activate our behaviour by checking with Scripture as we apply the instruction. So, if we're not stepping forward in that, we will just be in this swill of Messianic Nazarene, everything going on, So, brothers and sisters, come into this unexperienced discipline of Torah trust behaviour, where you are taking all your knowledge and putting it into practical behaviour. Yeah? That's where we have to come. That's where Yahusha's bride is being led in her behaviour. These 3 rules are a major contribution to help us develop righteous fruit. The 3 rules are a major contribution to help us develop righteous fruit. Remember, we use the 3 rules for our behaviour, not other people's behaviour, our behaviour. Checking our own behaviour, we do not use them on others. What are the 3 rules, brothers and sisters? Let everybody have it. I have people in my salon who can use these behaviours. Not even believers, don't want to be, it's fine. They're using these rules because they are true and they work. Letting everybody have their deal, have their madness, have their opinions, have what they want to have. And you're not fighting and you're not arguing with them. But the truth also of it is you're putting it on yourself. If you're feeling a burning inside you, if you're feeling a pain or an upsetment or a sadness or a depression or something coming on, we have to check our thoughts. Because every thought is a spirit. Every thought is an emotion. So if you just let them come into you willy-nilly, you'll just be an emotional roller coaster of a person. So we need to check and talk to ourselves. Did I let them have that? If a customer, if a client, if somebody riles you up, why am I? It's not about them. Nothing to do with what they've said or done. They don't have the power to make you feel something inside yourself. It's your reaction. So did I let them have that? Did I accept them as a person? Did I look at them and accept them and hear what they're saying, understand what they're saying, let them have their opinion? Or did I fight them? Did I try and give them and show them that they're not who they think they are? You're not, you know. Did I let them have it? Because if you don't, this is foundational stuff, guys. This is how to love. This is taking every single scripture written in here and turning it into a practical behaviour that you can use, that you can go out into your day and use. As the, what does it say? As the occasion arises. As we have the occasion. So first rule, let everybody have it. Did I let them have that? Or was I judging them? Was I angry at them? Was I not accepting what they were having? Was I not, you know? Rule number 2, don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. We are walking every day among the walking dead. Because most people don't understand their thoughts. Most people don't check their thoughts. So they are just a vessel of thoughts coming into them, in and out. You know? So brothers and sisters, don't judge them. Don't take anything they say personally. You can do better than that. You can just let them have their madness and keep walking. Remember, we're incognito. Yahusha's bride is incognito. The household of the belief. She's hidden amongst the tares. So brothers and sisters, learn this behaviour and you'll be able to run rings around. You'll be running forward, running your race faster, faster, faster. You'll be way ahead because nothing will faze you, nothing will get you down because you're just letting everybody have it, have their man. If they're not in the household of the belief, why are you taking anything they say seriously? That's why Chris said to me the other day, before you start getting into any heated conversations with people, click on their face, click on their profile and have a look at who they are. It only takes a couple of minutes to see who people really are, based on what they declare, based on what their pictures, you know, based on their beliefs. It's always there somewhere. Get a bit of an understanding of who they are before you start communicating with people, and then it's easy. You just know who they are. Okay, that's what you believe. I know, I know that. I've come from there, and you're not getting fussed up. There's no confusion. Who's the author of confusion, brothers and sisters? Who's always trying to pester us and put us down and devastate us? But the 3 rules, let everybody have it. Don't take anything personally. Don't make excuses for yourself. That's part of the mixture, making excuses. Oh, we have to use that name because it might offend people. No, Yahusha didn't walk the earth and tell people he was a different name to suit the society. He used his name and they picked up stones to throw them at him because you weren't allowed to use that name. Because his name and the Father's name are almost the same one. And you weren't allowed to use the Father's name. You weren't allowed to say Yahuwah. No way. And by Yahusha walking along saying, I am he, I am Yahusha, I am the Father. Yahusha means Yahuwah is my deliverance. They picked up stones to throw them at him. You know, he didn't compromise his message, you know. But at the same time, he was taking all of the Old Testament understanding and prophecies and covenant and everything. He took all of it and it was bottled up inside his vessel and he was behaving it. That's why people just followed him, flocked around him and followed him wherever he was going. Because they looked in his eyes and they saw peace and love. They saw the fruit of the Spirit, fruit of the Ruach. They saw them and they wanted it. They didn't always like what he said because it cut them to their heart. But he followed them. They followed him, I should say. Because they wanted that love. Brothers and sisters, we have generations and generations of people here crying out for understanding, crying out for love, crying out they're broken, they're battered, they're beaten, you know, they're pestered. More and more people are coming out of the woodwork, clients and young people saying they're feeling a presence. They wake up in the night and it's not just thoughts anymore. They're waking up in the night feeling like there's an entity sitting on their chest. They can't breathe properly. They feel like it's a demon. A demon. So, you know, what does that mean? So, you know, brothers and sisters, it's time to tell them the truth. There's only deliverance in one name. So, we're dealing with the household of the belief here. The household of the belief. So, brothers and sisters, keep going. Keep going, keep moving forward out of the mixture mindset of the unexperienced behaviour. We want the unexperienced behaviour, the truer trust relationship with Yahusha where we're hearing his voice, drowning out all the crap and moving forward in a real relationship with our bridegroom. Yeah? That's all I'm going to say today, brothers and sisters. I've prattled on enough. I love you. And thank you for tuning in. There's going to be much more articles to come because we need to tell the bride how to behave. The bride's behaviour is a little bit stinky. And Yahusha's not coming back for the whorish behaviour that is going on in religion. Yahusha hates religion. It's man-made and it's BS. And he hates it. And we hate it too. And we just want the fresh truth that's coming forth from his Torah. So try and hear his voice and drown out the rest of the stuff that's going on. Get your life into order and discipline and routines. Get off the computer and off Facebook if you need to. Go and clean your house. Get your finances in order. Get your life in order so that when Yahusha whispers in your ear or taps you on the shoulder and says, look, something's happening here. There's a conversation here, you know. You're not cluttered. Oh no, I can't talk to this person. I've got to go and do this. I've got to go and do that. Or, oh, I can't have people over right now. Look at the house. It's a mess. Your house wouldn't be a mess, would it? Because you've got order and routine and discipline. The house gets cleaned on this day. The finances get done on this day. The staff get paid on this day. Order, routine. We do the shopping on this day for the food. Everything's in discipline, in order, in routine. You're not just a fake person sitting in your mum's basement or in your dingy, dark office there, typing away all this BS, pretending you are something. And then when people see you in real life, they go, oh, that's not who you are. I'm out of here. You're a fake. Yahusha's bride is not fake. Yahusha's bride is the opposite. She's learning how to behave herself. And that's the whole purpose of Yahusha's bride. And that is the whole purpose of the behaviour revolution. And that's why you've got this nutcase sitting here talking to you now. I'm not a teacher, I don't want to be, but I understand this. Don't ask me why, but I understand this and I love it. There's nothing else in the world for me. I've seen friends and family and relatives and spouses and everybody walk away from this and I could not give a stuff, because it's all bondage and madness and wickedness that they've gone back into. This is the pure thread. Remember, a while back there was an article looking for the gold thread in everything. We're following Yahusha, looking, finding him in our day, in every circumstance, as we have occasion, because we're all leading busy lives here. As we have occasion, brothers and sisters, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of the belief. Are you of the belief? If you're not, there's some changes to be made. I love you, brothers and sisters. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, or if you're overseas, you're coming into your Shabbat now. Fantastic. I love you, brothers and sisters. See you later.